Hi everyone, I'm so excited to be back. It was kind of a long hiatus due to the holiday and then some personal stuff that was going on, which I may or may not share later. I did film a video, which I have to watch over before I post because it's really long and I feel like it needs to be edited. But anyway, this is me back. I got this early December, I think. I bought it because it came back out from Ulta. And I'm unsure why, but they reset the reviews and everything else. And I think it's because they had an issue with the palette. Apparently, some of the shades were producing mold, and one of them was Love Tons, and I think Dues Paid. Another blogger and YouTuber by the name of Slash Beauty, Miranda, has an excellent video on it, and she was so awesome at keeping up with Makeup Revolution and asking them questions and following up, and she has all of that information. So I'm going to link her video below if you haven't heard of the whole like mold thing. I believe they did end up pulling everything. For the most part, it's pretty sold out. I'm not sure. I can't remember if a recall was issued. This was a couple months ago. When did this even come out? Worst beauty blogger ever. Right here. Anyway, so mine is mold free, luckily, and I am excited to share my thoughts with you. I chose this one other than the Needs just because I thought it had all the eyeshadow colors basically similarly enough to the Needs, and then it had all these really fun colors in it. It's 20 bucks at Ulta Beauty. It is still available. It didn't sell out this time, and there are 24 shades. Mostly, I mean, when I first looked at it, I assumed, oh, wow, that's like a great mix of cool and warm tones. But really, when I swatched it, the colors looked a little bit different than what they look like in the pan, like the color tone of them. So in my opinion, it leans much more warm than cool, but overall it is still a beautiful palette. For those of you that aren't aware, Emily is Emily Noel here on YouTube. She is an OG beauty YouTuber, which I'm so excited to see Makeup Revolution partnering with somebody that has been around for so long. And I've always admired her. She's very good at what she does. She's good at the application process. She's good at explaining things to me in a way that I can understand. I mean, sometimes when I talk to people, I'm just all over the place. She's very good at what she does, and she is a pleasure to watch, and she's honest. She's always been very honest, and that is the number one thing that I look for. Clearly, this palette is beautiful. The colors are beautiful. It screams spring, yet also fall. And I feel like this is one that you could wear every season. It wouldn't matter. One of the first things I want to mention is that I feel like the shades in this palette are unexpected. And by that I mean at first glance, this palette, I feel it's super intimidating because you have these deep shades here and there's these beautiful greens and purples and pinks. And while there are a couple of the, neutral tones in there, you think, am I really going to use all of these other shades when I'm really just loving neutrals? However, it is actually a lot more wearable than what you might think. And that is because of a fact that is either going to be a really big pro for you or a really big con for you. I find the palette to be more wearable because the shades, though they look very saturated, they are a little more muted than you might think when you wear them. And I mean, looking at my eye look, you're like, yeah, that's not muted whatsoever, but they are buildable. So you can apply these with your brushes and get a more intense look, or you can apply this with your brushes and go a little bit softer and still add a pop of the corduroy. For me, the fact that they do apply more muted, it is a pro because I like to be able to build things to where I want them. The mattes, for the most part, swatch beautifully. The deeper ones do swatch a little more sheer than what you might anticipate. Like just rubbing your finger in it, you're gonna get a ton of color payoff and be like, holy crap, these are so intense and crazy. However, when you do the first swatch, it's very sheer. I had to make 3 passes with my swatches. With the mattes, I had to make the 3 passes and I had to like kind of blend them, but they did build and blend evenly and I thought they looked really pretty. When I wore them and tried them and played around with all the shades, I found that it was the same thing. So I kind of had to place and build and blend. And it's not like something that is so intense, like how people were saying with the Morphe James Charles palette. They kind of had to like pack it in and just like ever so slightly blend a gradient out, you know, with just the shade, that a lot of them like weren't for blending. These you can blend. You just have to make sure that you're layering correctly, you're keeping things even. You just have to pay attention, I guess is what I want to say. And it's not hard to do. It's not hard to work with by any means whatsoever. But at first pass, don't be disappointed if it's not the swatch that came off on just your finger. In terms of the mattes, I didn't really have any problem with any of them other than just thinking some of them were sheer. Color-wise, it's what I expected, just not as saturated. For the metallics, they threw me off quite a bit. Even when you swatch them, they're almost a different tone. So for example, Eve Rose looks like this beautiful light lilac color that just looks simply gorgeous. But when you swatch it, it swatches off as a pink with like a gold shift. And there's still that purple undertone to it, which is, it's almost bizarre to say. And it's a beautiful color and it's super soft and I love it. But it's not what I thought it was going to be whatsoever. It's actually more beautiful. And I had the same thing with Side Hustle. So that's that olive green that I thought was going to be more of like a deeper evergreen, but it's got this like, I don't want to say sheerness because it's not sheer, but it's a lot lighter than what you think it's going to be. And there's a goldness to it, like a gold shift to it. Top Story, which I have on my inner corner, and you can't tell as much here as you'll be able to in the swatch, but it looks like it's just going to be like a medium gold metallic. But when you swatch it, it's got this like orange copper undertone. So I guess like the metallics have like this difference to them, this different undertone, and it's kind of neat, but you're going to have to be careful because if you have a look that you want in your head, it may turn out differently because the colors are a little bit different. The only color that I hate in this palette, and I reserve hate, I don't say that often, Heartbeat was terrible. I picked it up on my finger, it looked great on my finger, swatched it, and almost nothing. Then I tried to build it and it was just, I'm gonna do it now for you. It was just a streaky mess and I had to really work. So there, this is it here and this is it swatched. I hope you can tell. I should turn down the ISO because you can kind of see it, but it is just such a mess. And then if you go over it, I didn't put any other color on my finger. It doesn't even really blend out very nicely. I went in probably like 6 times to get this. Like it chunks, like you can see chunks. And then there's still so much color on your finger. Like it's unreal. And then let me get a brush. We'll do a brush. So I'm just going to use this Real Techniques. It's kind of a fluffy one. It's not firm. Generally for this, I'd use a firm brush. I am digging the crap out of it into here. Okay, look at that. It's actually worse. And I mean, I can color it in as much as I want. And it does give like more intent, like I'm pressing hard. And it gives it the intensity. But it's just like, why do I have to work so hard? Why? I was not happy with that one at all. And I'll go in even, this is a MAC 239. This is the other side to the side that I used for my lid shade today. And I'm digging in again. And it's just, it's streaky. It's just not, and again, if you blend it out, it looks a little bit better. It's just not, it's not what I wanted it to be, basically. And again, that might just be my palette. This might be, am under the impression they would kept the formula the same, even though this is the second launch of it. And like Heartbeat got that oily over spray thing to it too. That one got it terribly. Cupcake has it a little bit. Other than that, I don't really see much of that on it. Pizzazz, a very tiny little bit. Other than that, that like oil that kind of settles, you can probably tell it like super weird and shiny. But overall, the other ones performed well. It was just Heartbeat gave me such a hard time. I think it's easier to work with if you're going to use it wet. With shades that give me problems like this, when I do want to use them, I kind of like dig up a little bit of color, then wet the brush, and it's almost like a loose pigment when you go in with it. So if you want to get the shade like Heartbeat, then that would be the way to do it. I love that with this palette, you have everything you need. You could travel with this, like the packaging is plastic, it feels really light, but there is a full-size mirror, and it is every shade that you would need. So you could travel and you have your transition shades, you have crease shades, you have the matte highlight, you have a shimmer highlight. It's literally everything you need, and it's all in one place. So for that, yes, travel with it. And actually, I would recommend, if you do plan on traveling with it, I bought mine from Ulta, and this is the box, and it came inside this bubble thing also. I would save that. So save the box, save the bubble thing, and then that way it gives a little bit more protection. It has a great mix of mattes, metallics, shimmer. I love that even though there is so much color, there is enough neutral to be neutral without also having to buy the once palette. Overall, for the price, 20 bucks, absolutely. This is a $20 palette. You're getting 24 shades, so it's less than $1 a shade. And I don't think that you will regret your purchase. I think that if you like to have a little bit of color, you don't like it to be super saturated. Like for example, none of these stained me at all. And I expected staining from Love Tones and Corduroy especially. I did not get that. And I don't know if it's because when I wore them, I did wear my Ulta primer and then I had a base kind of underneath it just to kind of make sure the color came out more, so to speak, because I knew they were sheer, and sometimes when I put a cream base down, such as MAC Painterly Pro Long or Paint Pot, it really helps just make them more vivid. But again, not necessary, because they can very easily be built and still look beautiful. This palette is limited edition. As of this video of me filming it right now, I just now looked, it is still available at Ulta Beauty. I am unsure if it's in store. I would guess that it is. And what's beautiful about Ulta Beauty is that you'll have a coupon to use too. Like right now, I'm a Platinum Rewards member. So I have a coupon for 5 off 15, I believe. And this is a drugstore brand. So you can use it on that. So instead of 20 bucks, you're going to get it for 15. Great deal. And even still, I think there's a $3.50 coupon off for a $15 purchase. So, I mean, definitely, again, still an excellent deal. And then I think shipping is free over 50. For me, I have to spend 50 for like the platinum level. I think I'm, yeah, because I'm not done. Platinum level, you get free shipping with 50 bucks. And actually over Christmas, it was free shipping with 35. So that was nice. This was also my first experience using Makeup Revolution eyeshadows. Based off of this experience I had with the Emily Edit, the Once palette for Makeup Revolution, I would absolutely try them again. And I'm hoping that they partner with more OG beauty gurus, because I love that they partnered with Emily. Before I get started, I did already put on my Ulta matte eye primer that I always use. And I also did just like a really quick top liner. It's really thin. I used this Pretty Vulgar brush, and I put on Bobbi Brown Longwear Gel Eyeliner Duo in dark chocolate ink. And that's just something that I've been doing lately. I honestly don't even know why, but I feel like it helps me place my liner better. And with my eyes being so bulbous and hard for me anyway to deal with, I wanted to kind of do that. And I don't know if it makes a difference, but to me it does, so I'm gonna do it. Before the Emily palette, I am basically just going pretty neutral. I don't want to get too crazy with it. I like some of the crazier shades and they are slightly more muted. I talked about that more at the beginning. I like to put this at the end just in case, like sometimes I like to skip through things and I know that's probably not the way, but that's the way I like things. So that's the way I do it for you guys. I have my shirt, I don't know if you can tell, it looks white on camera, but it's kind of got a blue tone to it. So I'm sticking more toward neutral territory because there's not much in here, you know, in my opinion, that will actually really match this. I'm just taking this IT Cosmetics blending brush. I'm going to go into, I don't even know what I want to do. I swatched this before I did it because I wanted to be sure of the look that I wanted to do, and I had in my head kind of, and now I forget. I guess I'm gonna go into Midwest and just gonna put that as my transition shade. That's just gonna go like right above my crease, and I tend to bring it down into my crease because my eyes are old and bulbous and hooded. That we gotta go above it. This mirror is way too big for this. So that was good. That's kind of what I expected it to look like. Next, I'm just taking a smaller looking blending brush. This is ColourPop E9. And I'm gonna dip that into Dues Paid. That is just going to deepen my crease a little bit, and I bring that up slightly, just not as much as I did with Midwest. And I'm kind of making like a, I'd like to say a V shape, but honestly it looks more like a C. But I just kind of make a shape, and depending on your eye type, you may or may not want to do that. But if you think you have eyes like mine, I find it to be helpful. I was going to go for an all matte type of look, but I think I have to use Capricorn. I'm not a Capricorn. That's that metallic-y one there that's got a taupe look to it, but it looked more like a chocolatey greige, I guess, which maybe might be taupe, but it's not taupe in my head. I just thought it looked really pretty when I swatched it, and I'm going to use it. Hopefully I don't regret it, but it appeared to do beautiful things. But yeah, it's pretty. Did I say I was putting this all over the lid? I am. I love this shade. So this sounds bizarre and it's probably unnecessary, but I'm going to go, because I wasn't planning on using that shade, I'm going to go into Apartment, which is just a darker looking brown. And I'm using this tiny little teeny brush from Luxie Beauty. It's the L41 mini round. And I'm just popping Apartment like as a transition almost between Capricorn and Dues Paid, because I feel like it needs that. And it may not, but to me it does. And it's probably not even going to be noticeable, but it's happening. Then I'll just go back in to Dues Paid and just kind of meld Apartment into that. Then I'm going back into Midwest, same brush that I used before, and I just blend that out a little bit, just super lightly. I'm glad I said I was going for an understated look when in fact it's starting to look more intense than what I thought I'd get out of this palette. Now I'm just taking a clean blender. This is Real Techniques 203. I don't think it's available anymore. I think it was one of those precious metals lines that they had. And I'm just kind of going on the edge to just soften it. Now the inner part, I want to go in, I'm going to go in with Top Story. I was trying to decide Top Story. I'll show you before I get into this. Top Story is right there. It's kind of like a muted, it looks like I said in the beginning, it looks like a muted gold shade, but it's like more of a copper, and I think it'll hit off really well to this. I almost did Oh Heavens, which is just kind of like an ivory type of metallic-y thing, but I think Top Story is going to work, and we're going to cross our fingers. I'm just going in with the Anastasia brush that comes with all the palettes, where I hate the blender side but love this side, and prayers. Okay, yeah, I like it. And I just saw too, like I have a lot of fallout. Not so much on this side, but like on this side. And I used the same brush. Maybe I didn't tap. It's definitely from Capricorn. Maybe I didn't tap that off well enough. I'm also bringing a little bit of that same shade, like under the inner third of my eye, Top Story. I'm just using the same brush because super lazy. My lip doesn't go with this at all either, because I did not intend for this. I was going to be neutral Sally today. With this shadow brush, I'm going into the cream. This is just another one of those It Cosmetics ones that I don't know the name of, but a flat one. And that's just that bone matte color there. And that's just going to be underneath my brow. I need to brush away the fallout. So now I'm just going to go under my eye with Dues Paid and just kind of meld it together, I guess. I'm going to use the brush that I put Apartment on to deepen the crease, just because I really like this for under my lower lash line. And what's it matter if it's a little darker? Then I just take the brush that I used for the brow bone and I just kind of blend that out a little bit. Every time I feel like I don't, I just feel like it's harsh. Now I just need eyeliner. I'm not even sure what kind of eyeliner I want to use. I'm not going to use the Bobbi Brown because I really just don't have it in me to mess with a liquid liner. So I have all these. This bag, Urban Decay sent all their liners in a bag, and I took out all the ones that weren't super neutral and I put in the ones from other brands that were, but I mean, for the most part, this is all Urban Decay. More often than not, I go for Urban Decay Demolition. It's one of my favorite eyeliners, and I'm gonna put that on the top and the bottom. And I'm super crappy at doing that on camera. Basically, if you don't have this, it's just a super dark brown, black and brown matte liner. So I just have the liner on now, and what I did with the liner is I kind of only went halfway into the top and then gradient it down. And with the Bobbi Brown there, it just sort of, I feel like it makes my eyes look bigger. It might not. But I did that, and then I take the bottom one almost to the inner corner of an off-white. I leave like a little bit, and then because my eyes are watery, it kind of drags a little bit of color there and just does the job itself. For my mascara, as is usually usual, I'm using It Cosmetics Superhero. I generally use 2 to 3 coats on the top, and then I do 1 on the bottom. This is my favorite mascara, not from the drugstore, and honestly, overall, my favorite. I prefer a more, I hate to say like gathered look to my lashes, but a lot of people think that it's clumpy, and I mean, mascara is relative, so you know, it is what it is, basically. If you like a lengthening, thickening type of mascara that will pull a few of your lashes together. For me, it's like a lot of the outer ones do this, and sometimes I have to separate them, sometimes I don't. It just depends on what they want to do that day. This is with 2 coats on the top, and then the bottom just has 1 coat. This is clearly with nothing. This is my final look. Hopefully you found it helpful. Hopefully my review was helpful. I am really impressed with the look that I got out of these eyeshadows. I really didn't expect it because of how I said the mattes were swatching on the sheer side, but they were they were buildable and they were pretty, and it was hard to figure out. It's one of those palettes that, other than that one shade that was absolutely just terrible, it has to be worn to appreciate. Just swatching it is not going to help you with your decision. Thanks for stopping by, and I will see you next time. Bye.